Alright, the quick finish to the video here. We've got the JB Weld on here. It's pretty dry. Yeah, it's pretty hard actually. It's been 24 hours probably, or close to that, maybe 22. And now we kind of need to put a inlet for the fuel, and we need to cut our felt, and we should be good to go. Now I noticed on this one here, a little deeper well would have been nice. I actually had to end up putting a little more aluminum in here than I wanted because I had that leak. It tends to be a rough draft, so I've got about 1/8 inch, maybe 1/4 inch of aluminum down here in the bottom here melted. So that ends up being a lot of aluminum in there, and it gets it a little on the heavy side, especially with the magnet on the bottom. So they're not the lightest weight stoves when you're done with them. I've had the same trouble with a couple of them where they've got a little more aluminum in the base than I wanted. This one's kind of heavy too. However, I think that one's because I used a brass top on it, so that's where the heaviness comes on that one. My other ones are all put up right now. I don't know where they are. But I will go ahead, and this one would have been nice, but I ended up denting it, so we'll make more as we go here. Let's work on putting that nipple in there. I'm going to move over to the vise over here to the right. Alright, let me get some drill stuff together and I'll be right back. Alright, so I have to mark the distance up for in here. It's generally just an eyeball thing. Okay, right about there. You don't want to be all the way to the base anyway, or else I'll move my arm here in just a second. You don't want to be at the base all the way, because then when the alcohol gets sucked back out, it'll suck it all back out. So you want to kind of be up a little bit. Now I gotta get this balanced out, going straight down. And I start off with a nice small hole and then check where I land it. Pretty good. Okay. Then I switch to my... This is not working out well with the cable on the back of there. All it's doing is moving the camera around. Then I switch to my Drill Master Drill Master set. Pull out the old M5x80 tap. I think I picked that up at Harbor Freight for, I don't know, it was pretty cheap. It wasn't that bad. I've used it a number of times, so it's come in handy. Excuse me. You gotta be kind of accurate with this one here. This is if you don't hit it straight up and down, you will actually ruin the base here. So looks like I did okay. Sometimes I tend to bore to the side one way or the other. I think I'm fine. The real test will be once I put the nipple in there and see just how it fits. With the washer, I use a rubber washer. I used to use the plastic washers, but the rubber washers work actually a little better. They let you tighten it down just a little bit tighter. So there's the one piece there, and the washers are so small I'm always afraid I'm going to drop them. There's the other piece. I put these back in my Ziploc bag so I don't lose the extras because they're pretty small. Oops, I got the extra little piece. I don't need that. I don't know what that's for, but I don't use it. And then I just kind of work the washer all the way down first, thread it all the way up to the top. Make sure I have a good threaded all the way up so it's not going to get squished any the wrong way there. Just get that black rubber washer on there. And then I just start it off by hand. And look and see how it's going to line up. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. And then generally I have my wrench sitting out here, but I think I must have put it away last night. So then I just get my little 1/4 inch wrench here. Run it down. You don't want to over tighten it. You want to just tighten it where it actually starts to squish the gasket. If it does leak, I sometimes will add a second rubber gasket. I've been pretty lucky and haven't had any leak recently here. So I don't make that flat spot that you'll see Tenny make on the edge, because these walls just aren't really thick, so I don't do that. Clean out all that little burr from the drilling. And now that it's on there, I like to hook up the alcohol line, which I think I talked about last night in the videos that I made this. Camera zoom back out. I made this last night or the night before, I don't know what it was. It's got the nipple in there with the plastic washer and everything. And I will plug this on here. And how I test it is I put my finger on the inside and squeeze it. And then, well, first we need to get some alcohol down to there. And once the alcohol is down there, I put my finger on the outside and squeeze and see if it leaks anywhere. No leaking, so we're good to go. Now we just need to cut some carbon felt for it, and we're all good. I'm going to back you guys up again, show you how I do my carbon felt. For all you guys that have watched a few of my videos, I had a 3 foot by 3 foot section of this stuff that I purchased for 25 bucks. So it's real simple. I just cut off a little piece. I'm going for a piece like this, the round piece, and a piece in the center. What I generally do is I grab one of these. This is about how big I want to make it. Actually, I'm going to go a little longer because this one was actually too small, so I shoved another little piece inside of here just to give it the thickness that I needed. After you use them once or twice, they tend to shrink up a little bit, so it's better to go a little longer. So I grab my felt over here and cut off a piece about that long, and I just roughly cut off something like that. All my extra parts lying around I need to clean up. Then I grab myself a piece of straight metal of some kind and a razor of some kind, and give myself a straight edge on one side. Actually, that side's pretty straight. So let's see here. Oh, that one doesn't come out. This one does. I forgot. That one I JB welded in, so I can't pull it out. Get a rough idea how long it needs to be. We'll go to, let's say, there. That part's easy enough. And then we go and we do a height. And I go a little high on the height because everyone's a little different. Get a straight edge and make a straight edge out of that. I usually go a little high, and then I can always cut it down if it's too high. So there's that. Simple enough. Bring the stove over here. Roll this up. And try to fit it in there. Oh yeah, it's good on the thickness, but the height is way too high. So we're going to, now that it's all full of alcohol, we're going to trim that down just a little bit. Let's see, which is our clean cut side. I don't know if either of them are clean cut sides, so we'll just trim off either one, doesn't matter. We need to get rid of at least a 1/4 inch. And this felt doesn't go to waste. I still use it in another stove here or there. I have a little medicine container that I throw all my excess felt into. And then I use it for the inside of a stove somewhere or something. Just stuff it all down in there. I'm getting a little full. I need to find a stove that I can shove it in. That may have went a little short. Let's see here. The problem with the magnetic base is they pick up everything magnetic. Everything steel. So let's see. Now there's not a lot of base in there, so because like I said, the 1/4 that's Alumaweld, so that's a good fill. Then the next thing I do is this can that I said I was going to need in a minute. I bring that out. I cut off another piece with a scissor. A little bigger than the circle I'm looking for. And I place this can, which I have taken a file. And I'm going to do it again because every few times it starts to dull off on me. I just take a file and I just do this along the edge of a can. This is a small can. I'd say it's about the size of the roundness of a V8, but it's a little bit stronger aluminum than a V8. It's not quite a Bud Light aluminum, but it's a little bit stronger. That makes a nice sharp edge on it. So it could cut you if I guess you ran your hands across it, but we won't do that. I find a nice center cutting spot and I kind of press down, and usually I cut a little bigger so I can have a place to twist on, but this time I didn't cut very big. Then I twist away until it gets to that point, and then it won't work anymore, so I have to do something like this. And if it doesn't get it the first time, easy enough to find your cut again and start fresh if something gets sucked into it. Sometimes it's a little easier to start with a bigger piece. I think we're pretty good. If you don't get, you can generally just go back in because you've got a good marking now and just trim along the line that you've made. Although I did a pretty rotten job of making a circle out of that, didn't I? Not too far off on that side. This side's really far off. Let's see just where I went wrong. Yep, just like I thought. That's the whole section over here that got sucked up underneath there. So some real quick cuts there will fix that up. Not my best job of making a circle, but it'll work nonetheless. This turned out actually pretty good. So then to do the center circle, I use as soon as I find it, I'll show you what I use. I just used it a couple nights ago. Can't have gone far. Ah, here it is. So this is a perfume bottle cap that my wife had, and I do the same thing with this one. On the file, I just run it along this thing like this. Just about every time I have to do this because it kind of dulls out by using it on this wood here. And I just file out the edge a little bit. And that gets really sharp, I guess, because it's chrome plated. I don't know. Kind of find my center. That is an oblong circle, that's for sure. And this does a great job of cutting. I wish the outside cut this nice. Just push them down there, and eventually I get a bunch of those and I dump them into the same thing. Wrap that around there, and if I'm going to make a double donut wick, I would cut another one and put it right on top of there. So you'd have a double donut like this. Generally I do make two of them just so that it can do twice as much, but I don't generally end up using both of them when I'm cooking. For the most part, I leave the extra one is a spare for in case the first one gets messed up. So I always make two for everyone and then end up not using two most of the time. It works better with one most of the time. So that's it. We'll go ahead and light her up and see how she looks. I'll turn off the lights a little bit. We're going to need some fuel, obviously. There it goes, starting to get damp. We're going to fill it all the way up so that we can see it, and there it is, all the way to the edges. So we can see it in full action here. I'll bring the camera down so you guys can see it from down below too. It's glowing a little orange on the edge, so I'll go ahead and put a little more fuel in there now that I can see how much fuel I'm putting in. I don't like putting fuel in when I can't see it. And the first time it always glows a little orange around the edges because it's got all those little fuzzies off the edge that are not getting alcohol. Oh, there we go. Right out to the edge.